71122 to Kenny. 8300. 8362, 28 to a vehicle, 900 North Main parking lot of Kmart.
Okay, we're on it. 3, 2, 1.
Now as that takes me a stroll.
And once again, back at it. I like this little GIF I made. Yeah, we need that. Let's do something real quick. Oops. Move this out the way real quick. Keep it right there. We need that shit. Now, yeah, this is one thing I've always talked about as far as dealing with Democrats seemingly in politics, is that I think, especially with black people, a lot of black people are still under that belief as if you must vote Democrat or you're not black, like how your boy Joe Biden told us. I always said with Democrats, it seems that in instances you can point out things that, either on paper or for a headline may look good, it may look great, oh, this is why you go with Democrat. But there's always a downside that goes ignored. And one good example is like the creation of jobs. And you can argue that the creation of jobs are keeping like a steady pace from what the Biden, or not the Biden, I'm sorry, but the Trump administration has done. But the counter to that is he's killing jobs with vaccine mandate and intrusion on the public's personal beliefs and standards, whatever. So while we may have what appears to be a job growth, and you see everybody posting, like, oh man, everybody's hiring, what's the point in that if you can't work because you don't want to adhere to a ridiculous standard? And so, as always, I don't know, Fox they always come through. So let me bring up this, because my voice is only so big and these people have a bigger voice than I do. Bam.
The president's trying to have it all ways. His whole thing on vaccines is very confusing. People don't like the coercion part of it, and it is leading to people getting fired. Here we have health workers being laid off at a time when there's a shortage of them. Airlines, same thing. And so the Delta variant, that hurt in September, and this vaccine mandate's also going to hurt. What comes out of this jobs report is, what's amazing is how the economy is just rearing to go if these artificial barriers are removed. If you look at the household survey, which better hits small businesses, hitting what small businesses are doing, the job creation was actually 526,000. The big decline in jobs came not in the private sector, which was up over 300,000 in September, revised another up 100,000 for July and August. The big fall off was in government workers. That is especially in the schools with these crazy mandates, people confused about what they can and cannot do. So these are government-inflicted report, not something about the natural health of the economy, which would heal quickly if certain things were not stupidly done. Be blunt about it.
That is so fascinating. So what you're saying is that President Biden effectively is getting his own workforce fired. I mean, those are the people that he can control in the government, right?
Yes.
It's mind-boggling. Huge companies like IBM and American Airlines are now already warning their employees that if they are not vaccinated by November 24th, That's their deadline. They will be fired. IBM
And they don't
just
even
looked
take
it up.
into account people who've had the disease, where the immunity is better than the vaccines. This kind of one-size-fits-all blunderbuss from the top, very destructive, ultimately.
So, Steve, I just looked it up. IBM is the 7th largest company in the nation. I mean, they hire a whole lot of folk. And we know that small businesses hire upwards of 66% of the American workforce. And they're hurt by this because they have to hire literally their own vaccine czar to figure out who's vaccinated and who's not for their customer base, like in New York, and also their employees. What is this going to do to the price of things?
Well, what it does is artificially raise costs. We have costs rising because the Fed is printing too much money, which will avalanche the economy next year when they stop the gimmicks from preventing it this year, which they'll run out of. And but they just artificially the whole thing of the breakdown of the supply chain from COVID. One, economists and experts underestimated grossly what happens when you shut down the whole global economy. You don't turn it on like a light switch or a faucet. So that takes time. But then they keep adding these artificial barriers, which stand in the way, raise costs, and that's going to hit the consumer, which will hit the economy. Connect the dots. Hello.
I know, it seems so basic, and of course you're so great at explaining things. It just kind of makes you even understand it to the point like you want to call the White House and say, what don't you get? But we can't do that. Anyway, meanwhile, Democrats
We can
are
try,
no
but
closer
then they'll send
to...
the FBI
yeah,
on
we
us.
could try. But only because we're parents. Democrats...
Yeah. That's the thing. It's just wild. And I remember I did a video on not too long ago, I think yesterday, on Andrew Wiggins finally submitting to getting the vaccine and so he could play basketball, and how especially with sports media, it's a thing to kind of drag Kyrie Irving now for his decision. And I think it's really gonna have to come to a point, I think, for a lot of us smaller time people, to where we put our foot down. And I don't know, this is just a crazy, just very seemingly this un-American even thing to even have to really speak on. But we're gonna have to stand firm. I mean, I shout out Kyrie Irving, because it seems like everything to play in the NBA, that's a dream for many. The money and the fame, everything that may come with it. But then at the same time, at what cost? Like, how much are you willing to give up? Are you willing to trade in your principles, your morals, your values? It's the same thing as where you see they're talking about people at IBM, American Airlines, and hospitals already in New York have already laid off thousands of people. And it's going to get to a point, I think, to where people are not going to have a choice to snap out of it and say, wait a minute, like, what the fuck are we doing here? Because all these businesses need us to run. The government needs us to run. And the thing that we forget is our government is in service to us. It is not the other way around. You just got to think on this vaccine. Andrew Wiggins, he said something in his press release about, or to the effect of, well, hopefully I'm still healthy in 10 years. And so I'll close this video with a simple question. Can anybody tell me the long-term effects of taking any of these vaccines? The 5 or 10-year potential side effects or hazards for taking this vaccine? You can watch yourself. Leaving that question open. You answer in the comments, respond in the comments. Let me know what you think in the comments. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. That'll let you know when I'm on here talking my shit, giving y'all that grease, that 100 that everybody needs. And on that note, I'm out.
It's your boy Slim Sab, I stay grittin' and grindin'. Paint drippin' off the slab, main the left wrist shining. Puffin' on the best herb, purchase all the best clothes. Brody, fuck what you heard, over here we gettin' dope. Hella marijuana smoke, VIP with model ho. Get 'em high, got 'em drunk, now they all wanna go. Got it crunk, get it turned, keep the groupies getting low. Getting blade till I'm burnt, I sitting low, bro. I'm $1 million dream. Bean for the green with the cookies and the cream. Tell you how to get it with the package and the beam. Legal over legal and it hard as it seems. You know what I mean? Never trigger but a quicker just to let it go. Like a buddy in the wind, I'ma let it blow. Bottle bottles at the bar, I'ma let it flow. Little change for a chain, I'ma let it glow. Never cut it on the chick, but I let it hoe. Let the white girls in, fuck it, let us know. Tip a couple bottles, got a couple models. Tell the beat when I leave just to let them know. You got them raps, bottom. Yo, where them stats, I got 'em. Money ain't a thing like your main before the tax.
When I step up in the club, bet I'm buying all the bottles. When I leave out for the night, bet I'm leaving with the models. Going heavy on the gas, 140 on the throttle. It ain't nothing, baby, we gon' do the same old thing tomorrow. I'm $1 million dream, here's a penny for your sight. I'm $1 million dream, here's a penny for your sight. I'm $1 million dream, here's a penny for your sight. I'm $1 million dream, here's a penny for your sight.
Cause I gotta get the paper stack. My money get books, that's what I call a paperback. Me living lavish, I'm ended up with a paper tag. I put in work cause somebody gotta pay for that. Almighty made for that. So I came up with a scheme. Then I got my game up with my team. Now I'm trying to get my name up on the cream. It's a shame the only dream. Better get up out your bed. I ain't preaching to you, homie, but faith without work is dead. I'ma go get it instead. I take my words, turn them to action. While you settling, taking a loss, I enjoy success satisfaction. Racks on racks on racks, riding stacks on stacks on stacks. Maseratis back to back, to VIP down to the track. They know us, we do it big. Gotta get it how I live. Raising funds, but I don't give. Nobody fresher than the kid. Don't believe it, ask your chick. She just want me cause I'm rich. But I don't trick and I don't treat. Treat her $1 million dreams. Another $1 million scheme. Nobody fucking with that squad. We that $1 million dream. Stacking millions is my job.
When I step up in the club, bet I'm buying all the bottles. When I leave out for the night, bet I'm leaving with the models. Going heavy on the gas, 140 on the throttle. It ain't nothing, baby, we gon' do the same old thing tomorrow. I'm $1 million dream, here's a penny for your sight. I'm $1 million dream, here's a penny for your sight. I'm $1 million dream, here's a penny for your sight. I'm $1 million dream, here's a penny for your sight.
If you don't work and you don't eat, you don't grind and you don't shine. So every time I hit the block, nigga, all them knocks on me. Petty Swisher, Gorgonzola, boy, I gotta get my cheese. We them alphabet boys, keep the K's with the G. Check it, when you wanna go up in there, when you tryna be, I'm already in there. Game spittin' till I'm all within here. And you still be watered down like swimwear. Flow smooth like a G6 in air. But rougher than I feel for the cactus. Boy, the kicker with my skill take practice. You can spend a lifetime, still can't match this.
When I step up in the club, bet I'm buying all the bottles. When I leave out for the night, bet I'm leaving with the models. Going heavy on the gas, 140 on the throttle. It ain't nothing, baby, we gon' do the same old thing tomorrow. I'm $1 million dream, here's a penny for your sight. I'm $1 million dream, here's a penny for your sight. I'm $1 million dream, here's a penny for your sight. I'm $1